Okay, welcome back to the breakfast show. Really exciting. Well, that was eradicating power. Oh, sorry, you were dealing with the challenge of energy supply for the various rural clinics, and now we're about to talk about eradicating workplace stress through art emotional surgery. And I've been joined by Mr. Grimmond Thompson. Good morning and welcome to the breakfast show.
Thank you, Mike.
He is an art engineer, and well, I'm hearing he's very wonderful when it comes to that. So how's your week been? How's your weekend actually?
Well, great. Yeah.
You loved your weekend? What anything special you did?
Just concentrate on what to do to help humanity. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're talking about stress. I want you to describe stress first, and then you describe the art forms that you're very keen with, and how we can use that to eradicate stress.
Okay. This is how I define stress. Okay, stress is an emotional virus that eats away your creative intelligence and happiness. And once it gets these two, you can easily commit suicide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, eating away your emotional creativity or creativeness is what you
Creative
said?
Intelligence.
Creative intelligence.
Yeah.
Now that's something I'd like to touch on. We would surely also be joined by the clinical psychologist, Mrs. Victoria Esinama Salfe. She's actually also a member of the assembly, and she is standing for something else. So we'll talk about that also shortly. But now we are talking about the stress and art forms and the likes. And obviously, she has joined us. It's been a really long time since I saw her in the studio. But she's a clinical psychologist, and we'll be looking at it from various angles. So I just want to talk about the creative intelligence aspect that you talked about. And some would argue that when one is stressed, is the time that a person can surprisingly come out with creative ideas. You would disagree with that assertion?
Exactly. Because first of all, let me send an emotional virus to all our viewers right now. Try rotating your right leg clockwise and try writing 6 with your right hand at the same time and check what will happen. You do it right now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so if you're at home, you should try. Rotate your your right leg
clockwise.
And
try writing 6.
That's like this. And then you try writing 6
with your right hand.
With your right hand
at the same time.
Okay, what's gonna happen?
You do it.
I'd love to try, but I'm just afraid something's gonna happen.
Yeah, communication will jam. Yeah, communication in the brain will jam.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that relate to stress?
Yeah. At that particular moment, when communication jams, okay, it's a form of stress. Yeah. But this one, I'm just sending a signal. Most people do not understand what we call stress. They think stress is just muscle tiredness, but no, that is not stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so still talking about stress, we've been joined by Madam Victoria Salfe. Would you touch on stress, how you would describe stress personally?
Thank you. Good morning to you listeners. Stress is defined severally, but stress is mainly your inability to cope with your environment, or one has not got enough resources to deal with daily activities or things that confront one. And so if you view in your mind that you cannot cope with something, you cannot deal appropriately with a situation, it puts stress on you.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's quite conclusive. Back to you, Grimmond. What is art therapy? I just want to jump to art therapy now.
Okay, with art therapy, you need to get a patient involved. The person who is stressed out. You get a person involved by doing some kind of painting. But with the emotional surgery, you don't need to do anything. The patient doesn't need to do anything. I have to do my own thing. Like as I'm sitting here with you, I can create a painting, okay, that will send special signals to your brain and flash out stress.
Okay, so in this case, I'm the one who's stressed.
Yes.
Okay, and you do what exactly?
Yeah, I'll send signals.
How?
Using colors.
How?
Okay. How? Okay, you let your guys turn on my system and I'll show you how. Each color has a frequency and a form of power. Okay, and I can create zillions of colors using just one color.
Okay. Well, we'll be taking those images shortly, and then we'll be talking about them. But in the meantime, Madam Victoria, are you listening to what's he saying? The
surgery.
Emotional surgery, where he's able to send signals through colors. Do you believe in this form of science, this art?
I'm listening very carefully, and it has a lot to do with psychology. It's because it's the mind that you're manipulating. Colors are very important, and they communicate meaning to a whole lot of things. And so in psychotherapy, in psychology, colors, when you enter the therapist room, the colors that are in the room, for instance, today I'm wearing white, it should relax you. And some colors, people communicate through colors. And when it comes to drawing, and the art therapy is talking about, it's all in part of psychology.
Okay, so
because
we have, sorry, I don't mean to cut in, but I just want him to touch on the colors. Are these the colors you're talking about? Is it the scenes that you're looking forward to?
This one contains trillions of colors.
Trillions?
Yes.
Okay. And what is this doing? What's this image?
It's just sending a signal. Okay. Yeah, to the brain.
Okay.
Especially the neurons, the building blocks of the brain.
Okay.
To do what I want your brain to do, to help you get out of stress.
So what you do is you paint this and you show it to me?
Yeah.
And what would this do?
Okay, you don't have to worry yourself about it.
Okay.
I know what I want to do to your brain for you to be relaxed. Okay. I started this when I was just 3 years old.
When you were just 3 years old?
Yeah, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I got to the age of 6.
Okay.
Then I realized no.
But Madam Victoria, are you following what?
Yes, very much.
I just need to understand this from also
as a related
clinical psychology point of view.
Yes, it's a cycle, because we were talking about the brain, and the functioning of the brain, communication, the thought processes, and it's those from the whatever action that we take in life comes from the brain.
Okay.
And that is how the father of psychology, Freud, would draw. Sigmund Freud would draw things and let the client interpret, and by so doing, he understands your thoughts. He's able to place wherever disorder.
You mean the ink blot test or the Rorschach paint
testing? Okay. Sure.
I always thought it was weird, you know.
You did a bit of psychology.
Yes,
intro. Okay, so those things help him, or the psychologist, to understand the thought processes of the clients or the human beings you are dealing with, and those drawings that you need to interpret will let you know that this person, this is sometimes, if you do it, you are more experienced in it as a psychologist. It shows you wherever the dysfunctioning is coming from the brain.
So from what you're saying, and from what we all learn in conventional psychology, is that it helps you understand the person. But what Grimmond is saying is that he can make, or unless I didn't get you right, you can make a person do what you want the person to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see, it's gone beyond interpreting the person's understanding to more or less manipulating the person.
Manipulating, exactly.
By sending signals.
You need to understand the person to deal with the person's problem. Because see, if you don't understand with the person, you cannot deal with the problem. And so what art therapy, emotional surgery is talking about, as that it delves more into the brain by presenting images, by presenting colors, and is able to deal with the issue because you understand better than
this is what's going on
other people.
Emotional surgery, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm sending signals to the entire body and retrieving stress signals from the brain.
Okay. Well, call me a skeptic, but this is I'm having a hard time believing this quite easily. Okay, so
yeah, you get it.
Okay, so what can you make me do
right now?
Yeah, or what can you make another? Okay, maybe not right now, because I'm afraid I'll embarrass myself on TV with what I'll do. Okay, what can you make another person do?
No, it depends upon the state of the person. You know, like let's take the military for example. Okay. When they go for training and they come back, gunshots, the sound of, mortar fire
like
and all that,
PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder and all that, that is pretty dangerous. Yeah. When they come back from the camp, we need to flush the system, flush the brain, because they can easily pick up a gun and kill everybody. Yeah. That is what happens in the States.
Yeah. But I want to deal with the signal thing. I mean, I saw the image and it was very, very spooky. Okay. So, by sending the signal, what are some of the... have you tried it before?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
And what?
If you go to cardio right now, they have my works there.
You have your works there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Professor Frimpong Boateng bought it for them.
Mm.
What I did for them was this, that, they deal with delicate issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I send signals to the brain, to their brain, okay? So that when they go to the theater, the brain will do the exact thing that it wants them to do, not making mistakes.
Okay.
This is on a higher pedestal.
Yeah.
And I'm the only person in the world.
In the world?
Yes.
Not just in Ghana?
Yeah. I'm the only person in the world who is doing this. And I've been doing this for the past 40 years.
Okay. In light of what he just said, what do you have to say?
I would liken it to what Sigmund Freud again was doing with psychotherapy, which is hypnosis.
Yeah.
And he was dealing with people's brain, and similarly to what he was doing, there was ethical issues. This is not more practice, but it's a refined form of what he's doing now. He's able to get to your brain and the community to be able to get whatever is troubling the patients, and by presenting signal, getting into the mind.
Are you honestly telling me that you're not in the least bit doubtful of what he's saying right now?
Not at all, because of my profession. And because of things I've read about.
He's the only person in the world who does that.
Because he has gone further with it. He has acquired more knowledge, experience, and is able to do that. But there are so many things that can be done with the brain in healing processes, in childhood disorders, in stress, in so many malfunctional states. There's so many that can be so many things that can be done with the brain. And so the brain is so powerful. It needs somebody to train and to understand the brain network system, and that's what I think he's doing.
Okay. So back to the sending signals. Okay, so give me an example of what you let a person do by sending the signals.
It depends, like I said earlier on, it depends on your states, the state of the mind.
Okay.
You don't just have to tell me everything about yourself. I can just look straight into your eyes and then design a painting that would always, rev your brain. Yeah. If I say rev your brain, you understand. Like the way you rev your vehicle, vroom, that kind of thing. Yeah. You need to be revving the brain every now and then. Every now and then.
And how long does this process take? The mental painting of of an image in a person's mind by sending the signals.
It takes 1/zillionth of a second.
Wow.
From using my paintings, 1/zillionth of a second to have effect on you.
Okay, I wish you had brought your paintings here. I'm not gonna do it. I'll just kidnap one of the cameramen and then we would have just tried it out on him.
But one thing I also did, do you know I can use my paintings to remove blood clots from the brain? Yes. Any neurosurgeon, can come forward and learn from me how to remove blood clots from the brain using colors. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes medical doctors are doing very well, but it gets to a time they have a limit, and after that they will tell you
these are some of your colors, or these are
you see them as red, blue, but that is not that They
look like the GTV colors when the station is about to start. Or GTV has been sending signals to our brains that we are unaware of. I don't know. Now I'm just so
I can send a signal to your brain. I can design something to let you go crazy.
Oh,
and
wow.
all that. Yeah. And
as it stands now, if anything happens to me, the world is going to blame you.
No, I'm not doing it to you right now.
Thank you. Please don't.
Dr. Asari is doing very well, but he's not getting the support that he needs to get.
But he's not using your method.
No.
Okay.
Because he doesn't know me. Yeah.
Okay,
and
so
I would want to help him.
Okay.
Not help and Dr. Sari alone. I want to help the security forces.
By flashing out the PTSD.
Exactly. Our leaders, our doctors.
Our leaders?
Yes. And our doctors too. Yeah.
Can you help the president?
Why not?
How? You send signals into his brain?
I'll say this off camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to, help him.
You need to help the president?
Yes, it's very urgent. I have tried several times to meet with the president. The people around him, are preventing me from seeing him.
You want to send signals into the president's brain?
Sit down with him for even just 5 minutes will be enough to flash the brain.
Okay. Now, Okay, so these are all images that you use?
Yeah.
Did you paint them yourself?
Yes. I have over 40,000 paintings.
Wow. Are you like, is this, sending signals to our brain right now, or you need to do something extra?
Right now.
I'm wondering whether I should stare at the images or I should just stay away from it.
Right now, you are not concentrating. Okay. You are talking to me.
Okay.
So your brain is focused on what
the questions
planned.
I'm asking.
Yes. Yeah, that's what your brain is trying to do right now.
Hmm.
So your neurons are firing. You're not concentrating on the paintings. Yeah.
Okay. So you've heard quite a bit now. Are you still you still believe this form of art? You still think it's possible?
I do. It's the magnitude. I believe every psychologist has a certain level of what is talking about the art, and they get manipulating of the brain, because the brain, and a lot of research has shown that animals have been, the brain or other parts of the animal, the brain area has been stimulated, and they show different behaviors, even eating behaviors and non-eating behaviors and all that, and a whole lot of it. So the brain can be manipulated to do a whole lot of things, and it takes time to study and to learn. It takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time.
Oh, of
but
course.
He says 1/000th of a second.
No, I mean the training to get to that magnitude, to be able to perform that, it takes time, and it takes commitment. It takes a whole lot of things to get to that level, and that is what, again, as I Sigmund Freud, I mean, at the point he came with psychology, psychotherapy, realized that medical physicians have been doing a lot of things to help people with a lot of disorders, but there are a whole lot of people at that time in Venia. People were suffering, especially the female who were left at home and married to, is a rich community, married to rich people, and they were not having a lot of communication. They were not having communication because they are housewives. They were expressing certain disorders. They go to the hospital, they go through tests, and they don't find any of these sicknesses, but yet they were suffering. Therefore, he went into the brain, went into psychology by getting some of by getting into their brain, by stimulating the brain to get results. And this is what I believe my brother is doing here. And it takes some time for us to understand by going through the work. The brain, I tell you, is so powerful. It's so powerful. You can use the brain to do, you can manipulate the brain to do anything. And when you take time to learn, to go through, at time you realize people see you as a witch or wizard.
Okay, so I was about to touch on that. Okay, based on our context, on our our geographical location, our culture, and everything. Let's work with assuming without admitting that what he's saying is exact and accurate. Would you not say it's juju, or have people accused you of doing some form of traditional juju practice?
Yeah, they told me I've been using occultic
But have you?
Spirits. No, I don't do that. The devil cannot do anything positive. It is God who does everything. If you should read Exodus chapter 31, verses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, God talks about artists, how to use arts, to do certain things.
Okay.
It is there. And if you should read the Quran too, I've forgotten the verse. It is also
it's
there.
In there.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are more. Wow. Okay. This is moving, or maybe we are changing the image. What's happening to that image? Right
now, this is what I'm trying to tell the brain. Neurons change direction. Change direction. Stop firing at that frequency. Change frequency. Now the human brain, operates under a certain frequency, 432 megahertz. Anything above that will disturb you. That is why when you open the volume lever of your sound system and it is too loud, somebody will be yelling at you. Now, let's stop it, Yeah, because you're disturbing the brain. The brain is telling, the system that I don't like what is around me. Cut it off.
Okay, now are there some words, Anti-Esinam, you know that when you're, in conventional psychology, while you're talking to people, or whether it's the Rorschach test you're doing, whether you're using a form of, hypnotism, you're talking to the person. Like, stare into this, relax, put your mind. Is that the same thing you do? Do you talk to people as well? Do when you're showing them the images, are there some words you say?
No, not necessarily some
You just show them the
specific
images,
words,
and then you go all signaling to their brain.
I just tell you, just look at this painting, how do you feel? But sometimes I don't say anything. I just show them the painting and they sense the signals. That's it.
I'll just be blunt, and I'm just trying to get an exact picture here.
No, it needs a high level of concentration. If you don't have that high level of concentration, you cannot perform.
Okay.
It will not work that much. And so it's like psychodynamics. So for you to get results, you need to have that high level of concentration and to be able to communicate the brain through the brain, and you have to be kind of in a different world. Nothing should distract your attention.
Okay. So do you need to be physically close to the person, or you can maybe send a WhatsApp image of one of your images, and the person is like far away, and then you do your whole signal thing, or there has to be physical proximity?
No, I can do it through via satellite.
You can do it via satellite.
Yeah, I can do it. It's simple. I have been doing this for the past 40 years, and I know what I'm doing. And God gave me this. Because listen, when I was 3 years old, okay, I was dissecting the heads and spine of creatures.
Please tell us that story again.
Yeah, I was dissecting heads and spine of creatures.
When you were 3 years old?
Yes, when I was 3 years old, but I didn't know what I was doing.
What creatures did you?
I started with roaches, and my parents were a bit mad at me. It's yucky, I'll just grab a roach and ask my granddad to keep it for me. We just open his, I'll just put it in his palm. We just open it and you start, you know what grannies, can do, So I decided not to give it to him again. I had, pockets with zip, just catch some roaches, put them there, When my parents are not in, I'll just get blade, start dissecting them, and my colleagues will be standing, look at the call. What
so
is he trying to do?
You used to put cockroaches in your pocket?
Yeah, just to,
I'm not used to put toffees and food in my pocket, but cockroaches.
I wasn't interested in that. I was interested in roaches and
You're
lizards.
more interested in the cockroaches than the toffees?
Yeah. I just see a roach. What makes it move? Why are you having, more than, 2 legs? That kind of thing. And I would grab it and dissect it. So from there, I graduated to frogs. And then from there, I became a senior, to lizards. Then at a point in time, my dad
started catching lizards?
Oh, yeah.
And doing what to them?
Just dissect, the head. Open it, open the chest, look at the heart. I'll call my dad. Sometimes, when my dad kills a goat, I ask him to, show me where the brain is. Then he will show me the brain and ask him, Dad, what? Can you give me that? What do you need for? So I need it. You just give it to me, please. So I'll just take it, study the brain. It's a jelly-like type of thing with veins, and all that.
I'm sorry, but at this point, I mean, if I were to be your parent, I'll be wondering whether you were growing into a serial killer, because it's only a matter of time before. I mean, started from roaches to frogs to lizards to goats. Now, what next?
Yeah,
it's a bit scary.
No, you shouldn't be scared.
I am. I'm sorry, but I am.
You shouldn't be scared. Once you get scared, you lose focus. Like for example, if somebody is trying to attack you, I always pray that nobody should, dare, attack me.
What's gonna happen?
I'll tell you off camera. Yeah.
It would be nice to hear it on camera. I mean, I'm sure the viewers out there would love to hear.
Oh yeah, I'll let the person collapse for 30 minutes. Then I'll just leave the scene.
How?
Yeah, I know where to hit. I've been dealing with the brain for 40 years. I know where to hit. And I know, sometimes I teach women, if somebody wants to rape them, just relax. Okay? Relax for the guy to start his own stuff. Okay? Once he tries to embrace you, use these, thumbs, okay? Push it right here. Push it in. And use your knee. Hit it. You know what I mean? You hit, the family jewels.
Ding dong bell. Oh.
Yeah, family jewels. You just hit the family jewels. That's it.
And what's going to happen to the person?
He's already confused. You just push these thumbs right here.
Deep inside here.
If you want, I can.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Yeah.
It just push it there. It sends signals to the brain.
I mean, if I collapse, who's going to do the show? I would have let you.
No, I
on me.
will not
Who's
let you
gonna do the
collapse
show?
right now, unless maybe you would want to,
No.
do something harmful to me.
Mm.
But I wouldn't want to kill you. I would just,
Please
disable.
don't.
I would just disable the system, and then I'll leave the scene. So by the time you wake up,
Okay, but yours wouldn't be pushing up here. Yours would be something else.
oh yeah,
So the pushing up here, where did you learn it from? Was it from a frog or from?
No.
How did you learn that part?
I had a friend of mine. He's a general in the army in America.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. He was training me. I was his agent, kind of. Training me on certain things. I had to link it up with what I was
You were
doing.
learning.
Yeah. And
And it
that's it.
just picked up.
Yeah. And I'm here to even teach the security forces.
Mm.
Yeah. Sometimes I look at them and I wonder the kind of training, they went through before they were enrolled, it's something else. But, this is Ghana. Everything is politics. I don't belong to any political party. I belong to Ghana. And I would want to help the nation. And you know what? United States is spending over $400 billion every year just to find cure for stress.
And you have it.
And I have it. I used to work for the co-founder of Microsoft, Mr. Paul Allen. If I had, prompted him about this, he would have bought it. But no, he said, no, I need to rule the world.
You need to rule the
Rule
world.
the world, because I'm black. The Western world, the whites, they think they're on top. Now, let me tell you something.
I mean, if Obama, why not you?
Obama is a different person. Yeah. He's not behaving, okay? I'll say it. He's not behaving as a real black man with that kind of intelligence. Yeah. He's been manipulated, but he doesn't know. I have lived with whites and blacks.
Maybe
and
someone's
I know,
sending signals to his head, don't you think?
No. If someone was to be doing that, he wouldn't be, doing what he's doing right now.
But Aunt Sinam is a huge politician. I mean, she is, she should be going for parliament soon. Are those in your plans sometime in the future?
Well, everything is possible.
Everything is possible. She is a huge politician. Would you advise her to stop doing politics?
No, she can go ahead.
She can go ahead.
Because she's a psychologist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A wonderful one, actually.
That's excellent. She has to be there. Because those guys up there, okay, they have nothing in their heads. I'm not going to say sorry.
Now, at this point, I want us to talk about stress at work and how you would handle it, and I'll ask him how he will also handle the stress at work. How you'd a person comes to you, obviously stressed from work. What advice would you give him? How would you handle it? And I'll ask him how he would also handle it as well.
From psychological point of
Yes.
view, I would try to look at use functional analysis. That's ABC. What is the antecedent, and then to the behavior, and then what are the consequences. And taking it from there, I have to identify the stress indicators. What is actually causing the stress? You can say you are stressed at work, but there must be certain indicators. There might be certain things that are causing the stress, and so I need to delve into that. And when I get what is causing the stress, then I have to find ways. First, relax means for the person to get relaxed, and for the person to also together we work at a coping mechanism, because there's some of the stress indicators or stresses you cannot remove totally, and therefore you need to find a way to cope with those stress that it doesn't overweigh you. It's because it's when the stress, you view the stress as you don't have the resources to deal with the stress, and that's the situation is too much for your handling. That's why the stress comes in. That is when you feel the hopelessness and the helplessness and all that comes with stress. You feel useless, you feel you are not competent to do ABC and all that. So when I identify that from the psychological point of view, work with the person to get to what is it, those that can be removed. If it's something that you need to, for instance, usually it's the work, other people are having too much to do, and that's putting pressure on them. They are not able to deal with timelines, they are not able to meet targets, and they are working with less resources, or maybe doom so that they are not able to meet their targets again. they have too much or too little to deal with. Too little to deal with can also put stress on you because you don't see yourself functioning the way you should function. God has designed our system to function at a certain level, and when you below that level, it can cause stress. If it's above, it can cause stress. So I need to identify those indicators and deal with it, remove it, or find coping mechanisms for the stress in general terms.
Okay, wonderful. Now, unfortunately, we have run out of time, but I'll ask you a final question. Do you have an emotional surgery way of solving those? Or do you think it's possible?
Yes, it's possible. I love solving problems. I have tried several times, to meet with the executives,
Of the energy situation or general? Okay.
Yeah, but they wouldn't want me to meet them. So,
but if you meet them, what would you do?
First of all, I need to check the state of the brain. Why can't you fix the problem? There's something wrong with your brain. Seriously.
Well, that's how we're wrapping up this particular discussion. Very, very interesting. And, we'll definitely bring him back on the program. I was joined by Mr. Grimmond Thompson. He is an art engineer, and Mrs. Victoria Sina myself, who is a clinical psychologist and also quite a huge politician. So, well, I'll keep on pushing that one.
I thought you mentioned the Narcotics Control Board.
Yeah, of course. I'll do that one as well. Of course, she's also the regional commander of NACOB. Stay tuned to the Breakfast Show. We're talking about eradicating stress and through art and emotional surgery. Stay tuned to the Breakfast Show.
Wakes up, but your mind doesn't. Don't just get up. Wake up with the great taste of Lipton. People all around the world enjoy the rich, refreshing taste of Lipton Yellow Label tea.